Hi, and welcome to Mommy Diaries. We know this podcast. We talk about all things motherhood, parenting, babies, pregnancy, and that journey of raising our kids. On today's show, Lampona must the smile. I'm so excited because I have my friend Natasha. I said Sutherland 3 times, so let's do it again. Sutherland. Sutherland. How are you, my friend?
I am very fine, thank you. So
You
lovely
look
to be
fine.
sitting here opposite you as Pasi and Natasha, not
Yeah, like disclaimer,
yeah.
please. This is not Dintle and Leila. No. This is Mapaseka and Natasha.
And sometimes we are way juicier. Well, you juicy, I'm cringy.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to agree quite so hard.
How are you, Tash?
I think I'm okay, Pasi. How are you?
I think I'm good. I feel young. I feel fresh. I feel good.
Okay.
I'm in a good space.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and you?
Yeah, I am. I can't say that I'm young.
You
because
are
I'm
young.
Not. I'm an elder.
Okay.
But
Sister.
I'm young at heart. I keep thinking I should behave my age, which I don't. And I'm going into a new space at the moment in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's got everything to do with the fact that my kids have recently moved out of the house, and I'm now an empty nester, as they call it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm in a new space. Not quite sure where I'm heading. But
Yeah.
definitely new.
Yeah. But before we even get to that, who is Natasha? Where did you grow up? And what kind of a girl were you? And tell us more about the little Natasha.
The little Natasha.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very arty family. My dad was a theatre director. My mom was an English teacher and a drama teacher. And she raised me on storytelling. Just as long as I can remember. Listening to stories was like my bread and butter. I loved it. I'm a Durban girl.
Hi, Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, every time you tell me you're from Durban, I can't see it.
Why? Because I'm not like the speech babe. I
think when not Durban is equals to Zulu. So
okay.
Durban is equals to
All right.
Zulu.
So that's why you don't make the connection.
Yes.
Yeah, look, my dad was from England.
Okay,
So everybody says I've got quite an English accent.
you do.
So maybe don't speak like a Durban accent.
Please, yeah. Kanjalo. Sekunjalo manje.
I don't speak like that. I wish I did because it sounds way cooler.
Yeah.
I think I was always quite a quiet child. I was a quiet child. I love books. So I suppose I'm a bit of a geek, really. You know that.
I do.
I am a bit of a geek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that with such conviction. And all I've ever known in my life is that I wanted to be a storyteller. And then just naturally progressed on to acting and all the adventures that came with that. And then got to meet you.
Yeah. And then, we always share this story about how, I don't want to say I grew up watching you, but I feel like when I was going through preparing for the show, I had a moment. And the moment for me was, I don't take this moment for granted, that I grew up watching you and I have your number on my phone. And secondly, yes, I've worked with you for so long, but this feels different.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
What
I
do you
feel
mean
so,
it feels different?
I just feel so honored.
Honored?
Yeah, is it the right word? Hey, my English.
Oh no, that's a beautiful thing to say.
Yeah, I
Thanks
do.
Thanks very much.
I do.
You mean I'm because I'm an elder and I've
No,
worked
because you're a legend.
I'm a legend.
Yeah, so when I was preparing the show, I was like, oh my God, this is for me beautiful. Because I think I shared the story with you when my dad left my mom.
Yeah.
He left with the TV, so we didn't have TV. And we used to watch TV either at my cousin's house or wherever we're visiting. If there's a TV, we would watch Kidio.
Yeah.
Kidio. And I saw you on Kidio, and today I'm sitting and I'm working with you.
Yeah.
And we're friends. And for me, it's like I don't take those moments for granted at all.
Yeah, it's so funny, when you're young and you have all these dreams, like I'm going to accept an Oscar for like this really arty piece of work, but I think I could win the Nobel Peace Prize and still be always remembered as the girl who spoke to a donkey for a living. Mr. Chinwag rocks. And the funny thing is that it's actually such a privilege that I got to do that because my whole life I've had so many people like you come and tell me that, their mums and dads were working and they got home from school and I was basically their companion.
Yeah.
And that means so much more to me. Honestly, it really does, than winning an Oscar. Not that I'm saying I wouldn't want it with an Oscar, but to know that I was such a beautiful part of people's childhood means a lot to me. And that's like a feather in my cap for my career and for me as a person and storytelling. So I was very lucky to get Kitty. I moved from Durban to Joburg, and I had the audition on the day. And I remember I was in the studio and I had to sing a song and do like a little dance. And I remember like kicking my foot, and my shoe flew off my foot, I think, and hit the cameraman on the head. I thought, there's no way I'm going to get that. And then I was cast.
Oh, wow.
And the same goes with Scandal as well. You know, it's been an amazing ride, and it has connected me to a whole lot of people that I wouldn't ordinarily be connected to. So there's a sort of a sense of privilege and respect and gratitude about that.
And then being a mom, have you always wanted to be a mom? Because sometimes, I would interview different moms and like, I didn't want to be a mom, but have you always wanted to be a mom?
I've never wanted to be a mom, but I've never not wanted to be a mom.
So you didn't think about it?
Yeah, I was never that girl that would think about her wedding and the picket fence and getting married and having kids. I do know that when I was proposed to, I said I do want children, because my now ex-husband, he already had children. So obviously there was something in me that was like, this is a journey. But somehow I always knew, I don't know why, that I was going to be a boy mom. Always knew I was going to be a boy mom. And I come from a family of girls, like I've only got sisters. And I always knew I was going to be a boy mom, and lo and behold, I had 2 boys.
And how was that, like raising 2 boys as a single mom?
It was rough and beautiful. I'm beginning to learn in this world that you need to combine the opposites, not try and look for a one or the other.
Yeah.
When I left my marriage, the boys were still quite young. So to think of how to answer that question, I don't know. I don't really have an experience of being a mom with a partner. So I've only ever known single parenting, if that makes any sense. So I have nothing really to compare it to. But I just know that it was a beautiful gift, but at the same time it is tough, because you feel like you have to be everything. You have to be everything to them. And we can juggle balls as much as we want to, but sometimes some balls drop, or there's no space in your life for something else. So I think it grew a lot of strength. It made me want to hustle, which is difficult for me because I'm a bit of a dreamer. And I think also because they were boys and I was a mom, you feel like your boys need a male role model as well. So I think a part of me, one regret I wish I had, was that you go into survival fix mode, you want everything to be okay, because there's a guilt, right? There's a guilt that came with me about not being enough as a single mom. So I would go into overdrive in how to protect them and fix things. And now in retrospect, I realize that sometimes I should have just paused a little bit and rather been present with them than rushing around trying to make sure that everything was all right for them, because that's what I thought I should be doing as a mom. But having said that, we have made, I believe, some beautiful memories, and that's what I wanted to give my kids. Just memories. Beautiful memories.
And you spoke about what are some of the challenges that you remember when, especially because you were a working mom, you were hustling, making sure that they get the best education, and with the conversations we've had in between scenes, I think I know what kind of a mom.
So just
you're exactly like my mom, and I think, and the reason why I'm saying that, I think it's because of what you're saying, being a single mom. Because my mom, even now, she would fight for us. And I think it's because she feels like I did this by myself. And I'm not gonna let anything or anyone get in the way of protecting my kids.
And it wasn't even a specific conscious choice to do that. It just becomes part of what you do. And I know that you're laughing because ever since I've met you, and we've been working together for how long?
10 years.
10 years. So Pasi's grown up with me, and I think all I do is talk about my boys, which is a little sad on one side, but I think it makes you realize how devoted I am to them and wanting everything to be okay for them. And I think being a freelance artist and single momming, it had its pros and cons.
Yeah.
The cons are, as you know, the hours.
Yeah.
The hours, the early mornings,
Yeah.
the late nights,
Yeah.
and also a lack of routine, which kids do need. They do need. So them having to grow up without, like there are some mornings I could take them to school and some mornings where someone else had to take them to school. So I would say that's a con. And also sometimes work, like I do a lot of theatre work, so that would take me away from them. And that always was a worry.
Yeah.
And I only started doing that a little later on as they were a bit older.
Yeah.
But one of the pros is it's not a 9 to 5. So there were days and moments
where
where
home with
I
them.
could,
Yeah.
I could spend time with them and go on holidays with them and that sort of thing. So I always try, for every time I felt sorry or angry or upset, to know that on the flip side of that, there was something else. So, for example, even being a single parent, which was not how I planned life, which is not how I went into motherhood. Being a single parent, I'd sometimes feel sorry for them and sorry for me, but the world has an amazing way, even if it doesn't turn out the way you planned, I believe that you get given other angels. So like my boy's caretaker, Mia, she was with them since they were born, and when I got divorced, she came with and helped me raise them, and I could never have done it without her. And she is their second mom today. Like on Mother's Day, I sent a message to my boy saying, don't forget to send a message to Mia.
Yeah.
And when Ben came to visit, we got together with Mia because she was fundamental in and that just really was very humbling. And as a mother, we think we've got to be the supreme being in their life, is to know that if we are humble enough to look, there are other people who can pick up the slack where you can't. Yeah. And also their godfather, Henk, as you know, I've spoken about Henk a lot. Yeah. He was like a second dad. He has helped me physically, emotionally, with the boys. He's always there. They depend on him. And so what I'm trying to say is, you plan your life and you think this is where it's going to go. 1 + 1 = 2, blah, 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 blah. Life pulls the rug from you. All of a sudden I'm a single mom. Yeah. And I look around and there is this amazing, beautiful support. Yeah.
And we need that support. So like you're saying, we are not, what's that word? Mbokotos. We are not, I don't know how to...
What is mbokoto?
Mbokoto?
Mbokoto.
Watinta bafazi, watinti mbokoto.
I can't say that because I'll sound, I'll mess it up.
But what I'm trying to say is we're not rocks. Like, we're not, like, because sometimes people would say, as a woman, you need to be very strong. But sometimes you realize that, especially when it comes to parenting, you do need support.
Yeah. And I think sometimes maybe we're too proud or thinking I am a mother, I should be able to do it all. Yes. The humility and grace of going, a true mother is going, that person can maybe do that better. Yeah. Like even now, like I chat to Mia a lot. Like my boys are out of home now, so but I chat to Mia a lot, and this is what Ben's doing and this is what Seb's doing, because she stays, they stay in contact with her. Yeah. And then sometimes I say to Mia, look, they're not going to listen to me about this, so could you please
yes.
ask them?
Yes.
And I think that is maybe a humble strength of motherhood. I learned that I can't be everything to them. No. I can be as much as I can be, but there are sometimes other energies and voices and loves of theirs that could do something slightly better than me. Yeah. And it's that unconditional love, right? Where you go, okay, I bow, I kneel down and go, thank you, let this other person take care of that.
And now that we're here, they're older, take us through the first conversation. Who moved out first?
So my eldest son, Sebastian, he moved out first.
Yeah.
And even though he moved into like a cottage close by, it was like a big thing for me.
I remember.
It was a big thing for me. Yeah. And then I had Benjamin for a year. I sound so territorial. It all sounds all sorts of wrong. Yeah. And then got to a point where I realized, I sometimes think that Ben was staying with me because he was worried about me. Yeah. And I was like, I can't let my son live his life worried about his mom because I'm alone and I don't have a partner at this point. So I encouraged him to go study in Cape Town, which was far away, and it's a province that he doesn't really know about. You know, he doesn't really know it. And so him going was a big blow. And I thought I had everything sorted, Pasi, as you know.
Yeah, under control.
Like I planned everything that I was going to do. Like I was going to brace this new side. And I realized in retrospect that I was just trying to stop the pain and the grief that was coming.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson as well.
Yeah.
That sometimes you've got to go through the grief and feel it and mourn. And a lot of people cope with emptiness fine. It is a natural rite of passage. We have to let our children go. But for me, it came with a certain sense of grief and mourning, and I don't think women talk enough about that. We push it under the carpet. They just get on with it. It's the way it's supposed to be. But it really, I think especially for me, because I had no partner, because I live in a freelance industry, you don't have like a 9-to-5 job that you go to. So a lot of my anchors were missing. And with it when Ben went, that type of motherhood went with it. So you're stuck with going, well, without these identities, who am I?
Yeah.
Which is scary, but it's also beautiful because you get the chance to reinvent yourself.
Yeah. Do you think it's more harder because you don't have a partner now? Do you think if you had like a partner, it would be easier?
I think there are pros and cons to it. I think if I had a partner, we would probably have a plan of what to do, where to go. But then that's also sort of fixed. So that's a pro and a con. And then the pro and con to not having a partner is you really get to know yourself again. Because being a mom's great, right? But it absorbs a lot of your identity.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes it is your whole identity, as you know. All I did was talk about my children and work.
All the time.
And now they're gone. I'm looking at myself going, who are you? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? I mean, I've got, if I'm lucky, I've got 3 decades left in this world. And that's not like a morbid, depressing thing. It's actually like a kick up the pants thing. Like, what do you want to do? What are you going to do with your life? I'm making it sound easier than it is for me. But that's where I'm going, I think. Well, hopefully that's where I am right now.
Yeah. But do you sometimes like look at your sons and feel like I did a good job? Like, do you sometimes sit in this emptiness of yours when you're looking at yourself, when you asking yourself these questions? But do you sometimes look at them and think of the memories that you've created and say, you know what, Tash, with everything that I've went through in life, being a single mom, a working mom, I did well. Do you have those moments?
I have to work towards those moments because being a single mom, I'm very hard on myself, Pasi. I think you know that. I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah.
So I often go, oh, I wish I could have done that instead of that. I wish I could have done this instead of that. So it takes conscious thought to do what you're saying. To remind myself, okay, there's this, and there's this, and there's this. And then also I get feedback from people about, look, my boys aren't without, they're human. They've got this and that. And they aren't without some sort of damage, as all kids are. Kids coming out of divorce as well. And personality traits and all sorts of things. But I think in essence they are beautiful kids. And I'd like to believe I contributed towards that in some way. But they themselves are, I think, pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I'm not agreeing because you're my friend. I'm agreeing because when I had that breakfast with Ben, and I was saying to my sister that it's amazing how I saw you through him.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I don't know how to explain. I'm not talking about the resemblance or anything like that. I'm just talking about how he speaks. It just shows that you really, you shouldn't be hard on yourself the way you are. You really did well because he was so respectful. I mean, he didn't know me that well, but it felt like I was talking to
and it's
you.
so lovely to hear you say that. And I must just say that I've got to share with the viewers what happened. So that's just very quickly, like that's another thing with my boys going off into their own world now, me being emptiness, is that as a mom, you want to keep your chickens safe as a mother hen. But even when Sebastian left, he moved into a cottage on the property of a woman who was a mom, and she had her son. And it was like, I was like, this is wonderful because his first transition away from me. He's got another mother figure there,
yeah.
which is beautiful. And then you start realizing, you know, your kids are protected, they're watched,
Yes.
they are looked after. And the same
Yeah.
with Ben going to another province. So many colleagues and friends said, give Ben my number if he needs help.
Yes.
This is a number of a good GP. This is a number of a good, you know, friends taking him in and giving him, you know, part-time work. You start realizing, wow, there's a whole network out there.
Yeah.
They are magical and blessed enough to be looked after. And so, okay, getting to the real story. So when I dropped Ben off, it's a long story. When I dropped Ben off at Ray's and helped him set up, you know, I was like, okay, you need this and you need this, and we need to get your pots, and then I must get your ironing board, which is ironic because I don't think Ben has like washed a shirt. And he eventually was like, okay, it's enough, Mom. I'm a grown man. I can do this stuff. And I was sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
And I left going, he'll have to learn himself.
Of course.
So the first time he phoned me, and he'd done his laundry, like inside my mind was going, Ben doing his laundry. You just got to know how funny that is. But I try to pull it out and like, that's amazing, babes. P.S. could you just send me a selfie? So he sends me the selfie of him sitting amongst all this laundry that he's trying to fold.
Yeah.
And then eventually he sent me a message, which I shared with you on set one day. He said, Mom, jeepers, ironing is difficult. He hadn't got himself an ironing board like I told him to. And he took his clothes and he boiled a pot and he was ironing his clothes on the table with a pot. And I remember I shared the story with you. And the next thing, and I've got to share this with your viewers just to show you how beautiful this person is in front of me. You just like spontaneously said that you were going to go to Cape Town for your birthday.
Yes.
And could you have Ben's number? Because you just wanted to check up on him.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. And I told Ben that you were doing that. And the next minute I got this just beautiful photograph of you guys having lunch together. I was so jelly.
Yeah.
And you went and gave him money to buy an iron and an ironing board. And I cannot tell you how much that meant to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to start crying now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It meant a lot.
Yeah.
Like little things like that. You know, you, as a mom, when you step back as a mom, you just know that there are other moms out there. There are other people who, I don't know, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And you just did.
Yeah. And I think, like I said to you, I didn't do it because I did it because I had nobody.
When you
I
said,
moved to Joburg.
yeah,
I had nobody. It was just me, my poor self, walking from Brixton to Avda. I had nothing.
yeah,
So when we had that conversation, I was like, there's no way. And I feel like God has given us the opportunity to know each other for a reason. With
Yeah.
everybody in our lives, like you're saying, with everybody in our lives, the opportunity to know each other, like knowing each other, is not just to know each other. It means that I can call you anytime, and I know you can call me anytime. And as mothers,
yeah,
and I knew my mom couldn't.
yeah,
It was not because she doesn't want to, she couldn't.
Yeah.
So when you said that, for me, it's like, I wish there was someone who would say, hey, Pasi, I'm in Joburg.
yeah,
Let's go to McDonald's and have something to eat.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But it never happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes you such a beautiful person and actress, because you have so much empathy. You know, you are so strong, but you allow yourself to also be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, like even on this show, I'm sure I think women need to see that women sometimes are strong through their vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And then when we share and we open up, we don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
And I always tell women, share your stories,
Yeah.
because you can resonate and grow.
Yeah.
And I found something humbling. Like, I'm a lot older than you. We won't say how old, although I'm sure you
We're
can
not
Google.
going to say that, my sister.
You know, we're from different walks of life.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from you as a human and a mother. I mean, you did that for my boy, and you didn't have to, and you didn't do it with any pomp or ceremony, or look at how amazing I am. You know, you just did it. When I won a SAFTA award, you were the one. You were the one out of our entire workforce who got everybody together to celebrate me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that speaks to the kind of person and woman and mother you are, and so I'm very grateful.
I'm grateful too. And I knew we were going to cry.
I know, I'm
Man.
sorry. You know, when it comes to talking about kids and motherhood, it's so sacred. It
It
means so much to me.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I knew you when you felt pregnant.
Yes.
We were acting when you felt pregnant with Nema. And now I've watched her grow.
Yes, you have, like from the beginning. And remember, you told me that story. We had a scene with Daniel Nyati.
Yes. You were hiding in the cupboard.
I was having an affair with Daniel Nyati, and I was huge. Like, I think I was 8 months.
Oh, I don't know how you did it.
And then, so Layla was walking in, and Layla found... you knocked, and then Dintle had to hide in a cupboard or wardrobe.
And then Utonian Hotel.
Yes. And then I was hiding in the wardrobe, and then Layla's like, yeah, where is she? Where is she? And then did you find me in the...
No. I was suspicious, but it was that whole big cliffhanger, like, is she going to know or isn't she going to know?
Yes.
But I remember when they called cut. Yeah. You know, when they called cut, everybody's busy with sound and this and this. And I was, like, as a mother to a mother-to-be, I was like, could someone please let Pasi out the wardrobe? Not that they locked you in, but like I was really worried. You know?
were, and it was cold. Yeah.
I was really worried.
Yeah.
I think you were in like your third trimester, hiding the tummy, and I know how
Yeah.
tired and exhausting it is.
It was not easy.
But
it was tough.
I think some people don't know, unless you've been a mother, or if you're a man.
Yeah.
Not that I'm knocking men. That's not taken into account, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now going back to how do you keep the strong connection? Like I like what you said about, sending each other pictures, WhatsApps. You're not the nagging mom, ne?
Well, no, listen, my boys will be the first to tell you that when I was raising them, like the amount of times Ben would roll his eyes and say I was so extra. Because, as a single parent, you do.
Yes.
You do push a little bit.
Yeah.
You're sort of on top of it. And I've got two very sort of out-the-box boys in a completely different way. You would never believe they were brothers. They're so very different. But they do love each other now. In the beginning, I thought I had Cain and Abel, but they do love each other now. So what was your question? You see, age.
My question was, how do you keep the strong connection?
Oh, so one thing I always tried to do with them as they grew up was to join them in whatever they were interested in.
Okay.
So like for Sebastian, he was very interested in gaming and storytelling that was connected to gaming. So I would sit and talk to him a lot about that.
Yeah.
Ben was very big into YouTube and things like that. So I would try and listen to the music they listened to, or, to try and keep connected to their world.
Yeah.
And now that they've gone and I'm empty nesting, I knew that I had to take a step back. I knew the biggest way to show my love was to pull back, which is very difficult. So I've tried to take their lead. Like when Ben went, I pulled right back until eventually, like, I don't know, on the 5th or 6th day, he sent a message going, I haven't got a message from you. And I was like, would you want one from me? Like, I'm like, like, I don't know. He was like, I said, so like one every 3 days?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that'll be okay. So I try and follow their lead.
Yeah.
I definitely do try and be a silent backbone in that I try and keep them connected. We have a group chat and try and connect with them once again on their level. So at the moment it's like Instagramming. If I find like a little thing that I think Sebastian would like, I'll send it to him. And sometimes we can go for days without actually having a WhatsApp chat.
But on the DMs,
but we're sending each other having the DM, like, because I know Sebastian is into this, say, for example, and Ben's into this. We have our thing, and so it's just about it's about fostering
that's
that.
Beautiful,
So it's very small, but I think it's
it's
lovely.
Yeah. Now talking about the empty nest, midlife, menopause. How is that going? And what is, for someone who doesn't know what empty nest is, what is that?
Hey, better hold on to your socks.
Okay.
Look, some women celebrate it and it's amazing. And I think that's great. Like I said earlier, for me, I anticipated it because I've got a bit of anxiety. So anxiety is like always like, you always got to prepare because you don't want yourself to hurt.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what really would hit me.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I'm going through menopause and empty nest and midlife crisis. I've got a triple whammy at the moment.
At the same time,
And it's this juggle between mourning what's gone, celebrating what's gone, being terrified of what's to come, but celebrating the possibility of what's to come.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, and also understanding that sometimes you can't jump the process. Like I said, you can't jump the grief. Well, I couldn't. I went underground I grieved. Once again, I had the most amazing support of people who held me. I feel like only now I'm coming up for air, which is why it's amazing I've only cried once on your show. But I feel like I get the chance to parent me now. To be the mom, you know, the mom to me, the nurturer to me, the friend to me. And that's kind of foreign, because as much as I don't regret my single parenting at all, I mean, my kids are my most important things in my life. Now I'm starting to make myself important too. So there comes a degree of nurture and I think curiosity. And you start looking at life and finding things that you thought were important that aren't.
Yeah.
And there's like there's a beauty in that.
Yeah. And what have you learned about yourself just now through just this short period of time?
I have learned. Oh, I'm going to start crying again. I've learned how powerful love is. Yeah. I've learned what unconditional love is. For the first time, you know, we grow up, read books and think that our partner or this or our job or a status or whatever is going to define us or make us feel important or worthy to be a human in the world. And a whole life is geared towards holding on, you know, holding on to status, holding on to titles, holding on to this. And the strongest, closest I think I've had to God love, unconditional love, is letting my kids grow. I remember giving my son driving lessons.
Yeah.
My firstborn. And, you know, we're driving in the car and he's grating the clutch.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling, oh my God, I was going to have to go in for a service. And I'm trying to control myself because he turns and I'm trying to get him to not hit the curb. And he's extra defensive and he's like fighting with me like, you know, when you talk to me like that. And then a part of me was like, why am I doing this? I'm spending money on driving lessons and driver's license and I'm costing my car and it's like interfering with our relationship. And I'm doing this all to give him wings to fly away.
Yeah.
And it was like this moment that hit me and I thought, this is the closest I've ever come to real, unconditional, raw, pure, powerful love. So I don't know if that's answered your question a little bit. So it's just like sitting with that feeling and going, wow, that's pretty amazing. You're pretty amazing that you've allowed that to happen. And who would have thought that it was in the letting go of the identity that the sense of self-love and self-appreciation and self-worth started building in me.
And a lot of women don't talk about this a lot, like you said. Like I've never had a conversation. Obviously, like you said, I'm a bit younger, but like I've never even had a conversation like this with my mom. Because I remember, I left Bloemfontein to come to Joburg, and I think 3 years later, my sister left to come to... And when my sister left, it was tough for her, because now she's alone at home. But I've never had a conversation with her about how did it make her feel. I don't even remember having a conversation with my mom about menopause. I just remember her saying, I don't go to my periods anymore. Yeah. But I don't know if it's... lack of knowledge or what, but we've never really sat down and spoken about how she felt when she left. But I always remembered, even in her prayer, because she prays a lot and she used to pray for us a lot. And in Sesotho, she never called us my kids. In Sesotho, ke banabaga, my kids.
Ke banabaga.
Banabaga. Banabastrata. Bastrata. Ke banaba. So she never used to call as banabag, meaning like my kids. When she prays, she would say, God, please protect my adingwa is like what you borrowed me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So every time, and I would ask her, like, why do you call us, like, we're not, you are your kids. And she's like, no, you guys are one day gonna leave, and then I'll be left alone, and that's gonna happen. So Mudimu, God borrowed me so I can guide you guys and help you, and then after that, you're on your own.
She knew what a lot of us have had to learn. I don't know whether we a softer generation,
maybe,
but that's incredibly beautiful. I think, and maybe as a kid you took it wrong, like you want to be, like, I want to be your daughter, I want to be your kid, you know. But there's a beautiful old poem by long dead guy called Khalil Gibran, and he also has a beautiful poem, and he says, your children are not you, they are not of you. They come through you, it's almost like he's trying to say, God is the bow, and your children are the arrow, and you're pulling the arrow back and letting the arrow fly, and that's your job as a parent. And I'm just saying that poem reminds me very much of what your mom said. But I think if we could join old generation and new generation, perhaps we could help women or single parents just be stronger and more real with what they're going through. Because at the end of the day, I think your kids start growing off thinking you're invincible.
Yeah.
And as they grow older, they realize you're just human. And I say just, that sounds terrible, but being human is actually very powerful.
Yeah.
But if we were more open with them, we would allow them to be more vulnerable with themselves and perhaps not trip themselves up so much. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
You like saying that? You answer
like, you know me, I just go off on a tangent and I'm thinking, did I answer that question correctly?
But now, since you had, I'm not going to say rediscovering, but I'll call that, because most my English sometimes runs away. Now that you are
English is perfect.
rediscovering yourself, do you have plans for yourself? What are your plans for yourself? Or are you still planning, okay, now that I have this time for myself, and you've just spoken about that unconditional love, and I'm sure that unconditional love also goes to you loving yourself unconditionally.
Well, that is a work in progress, because I think we're all hard on ourselves.
When you're too hard on yourself, my sister.
And confidence, I think, is amazing. And I see it in the younger generation, but it doesn't necessarily mean self-worth.
That's
not
true.
Always.
Yeah.
Sometimes confidence comes with a hustle, which is important. But that is where I want to go. At the moment, I'm in a bit of a state of paralysis, which I say is like there was grief, now there's a bit of paralysis, where I feel like a lump of clay that has to be remolded, or like the little caterpillar that's in the cocoon. It's like trying to figure out how to be a butterfly again. But I do know that if I'm capable of that kind of love for them, I must be capable of that kind of love for me, and that will shape me. And also something that I learnt as a mom as well is I'm a bit of a people pleaser. But as a mom, there were times, for my kids' sake, that I had to face people and institutions that were scary, and I would growl like a mother bear, like it came out with a side of myself that I never knew existed. So I go, if I could do that for them, then I've got that for me as well. Yeah. It's not to say I'm going to go and kicking butts and taking names, but I'm just saying, I want to incorporate those qualities. And I think, I have ideas for career. I love performing, as you know. I love storytelling, and I would really like to take my directing and my writing a little bit further as well. But this is meaningful for me. Yeah. This is so important. When I got divorced, I wrote 2 memoirs, and the feedback I got was unbelievable from women. Women, yeah. And it wasn't a tell-all tale. It was really about being honest and vulnerable. So this means a lot. So I'd love to incorporate that somehow. Yeah. But there's a degree of surrender I'm going through at the moment as well. Instead of trying to fix, plan, whatever, I've gone, okay, tell me what's next. What's next? What's next? And also joy. I want to create moments of joy from the little things.
I told you must move in with me.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's joy.
We'll be the opposite of the Kardashians.
Yes, now we are within.
So if your viewers can think of a good title for that show.
Like a mini reality show. But I feel like you're going to get along with Nema more than I do.
I was just about to say, what do you think, Nem? Can I be like the naughty sort of aunt? The naughty one, like we have chocolate for breakfast, and then you have to cope with the sugar rush. And
oh my goodness, I can't. And what advice do you have to, my English advice to what? What advice do you have for single moms who are in the same situation as you, whether young or old, but they are single moms and it's tough for them? What advice would you give them?
Gosh, I wish I could say that I feel I have the capacity or the knowledge or the title to offer advice. All I can say from my own path is you don't have to be the be all and end all of their lives. Yeah. In fact, sometimes that can restrict you. I know that's probably incredibly intellectual, I think I know one is thrown into fight or flight, trying to be a single mom and a single working mom.
Yeah.
But if you can stop trying to fix things to be okay for them and sometimes just try and be with them, that is enough. You are enough. Being present and there is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And we always talk about how time flies. You know, you always advise me that enjoy this moment with Nema once she's still young, because the next thing she's going to be 12.
It happens so
13.
quickly, Pasi.
Yeah.
It happens so quickly. So, like, even now, I mean, I know that, like, doing the school drop-off, you know, especially in winter,
Oh,
was like,
I don't like those. Yeah.
but now
you miss
I
them.
miss it.
Yeah.
I miss that time so much. I was stuck in a car.
Yeah.
My son was captive in a car with me for a whole, I don't know, sometimes, 45 minutes in Joburg traffic.
Yeah.
And I miss that. So, yeah, it's not the stuff that people don't know, but really, really, really just take time and value those things. Yeah.
And if, let's say it's time now, Nema is like 18 and she wants to move out, and I'm running to you and I'm crying, what advice would you give to me about the emptiness nest and about that whole thing of rediscovering yourself and being by yourself?
Well, look, I can say that stuff.
I don't know if when it happens, if I'll still be single, because you'll never know. Maybe Linda will get married again. Yay! Hey,
listen, you're cute and spicy enough, you know.
You think so?
You
But
know
like,
so.
prophesy for me, my sister. Do you think by that time I'll be married again? Prophesy. Tell me now.
Prophesy. I think you are powerful, and if you want to, you will call into your life the right kind of
My
person.
friend, I wonder you being English about it. Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
But then you won't. When you want to, it will happen because you are that powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no advice for people exactly going into emptiness, because everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
But it's just to be gentle with yourself and compassionate.
Yeah.
And let it happen.
Yeah.
It happens.
I'm just proud of you. Like I said, why are you doing that? I am so proud of you. And I think more than anything, getting the opportunity to meet Ben said a lot about the type of person you are. So, Anna, this is my advice to you. Stop being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Me and you, we have the same issue, anxiety. We're always anxious, but you did so well.
Thank
and
you.
I think also what you said about me, I'm going to say it back to you. You are an amazing actress,
Thank you.
amazing human being. And the moments that we share in between takes and in between scenes, I don't take those for granted. So I'll also share a story. So I've been doing we've been in a hectic storyline that's currently TXing now, and I had a moment on set where I haven't seen Nema because I'm always on set, and I felt like I'm having a mental breakdown.
Yeah. And your scenes also require a lot of
you know,
this.
I was there, and then the next thing I'm there, and then Tasha's like, okay, Pasi, what do you need? I'm like, I need like those biscuits.
Biscuits.
I
She
need
does certain type of biscuits you love.
I need those biscuits and rescue pills or something. I'm a bit anxious, and you did, and you bought the biscuits.
I went out. I got the biscuits.
You went somewhere, and then you got me biscuits, and those are the moments that we treasure, because we're there for each other as women. Because this whole thing of, like we spoke about, this whole thing of, oh no, this one is older, the age, is it ageism or what is it? Age?
Yeah, it's all sorts of things. You and I have natural, obvious, differences, but
it shouldn't get in the way of us.
There's a common bond, I think, and we found that, and we don't overplay it, we don't underplay it, it just pops up miraculously. So I think maybe if that's what you're saying in terms of what advice I would say to give to you, I would say I can't fix it.
Yeah.
I can't make it better. I can just be here to try and hold you in the moments you want to be held, and buy you biscuits, and wipe your tears, and to reassure you that you're going to be okay.
Yeah. And you are going to be okay.
Thank you.
I'm telling you that. Utloba shapo. Actually, shapo.
Say
it with me. Sharp.
What? Say it slowly.
Ki sharp.
Ki shabu.
Sharp.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, ki sharp. What does that mean?
I'm good. I'm fine.
I like it. I'm going to
Yeah.
write it down as a
Yeah.
little mantra and keep it for myself.
Yeah, write it on your caption
Kishapo.
one day, or post a picture of yourself and say, "Get sharp."
Kishapo. I
Like,
love
you
that you teach me.
with the confidence, you must be like,
There's a confidence here.
"Get sharp."
Kishapo.
Zamona ke re Natasha.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Kishapo.
Thank you so much, Tash.
Thank you, my student.
We cried, we laughed, reshapo, and thank you so much for coming to Mommy Diaries. I've been wanting to have you here, and we've spoken about this podcast even before it happened.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Now we're here, and I'm so grateful, and thank you so much for coming.
No, it's such a pleasure. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ke mo ge bana ba ko gae, nna le Natasha re sharp.